Let's begin by grounding ourselves. No? Ano bang ibig sabihin ng situationer? Now, a sectoral situationer is our analytical toolkit. No? It prevents us from saying women are oppressed in a vague way and forces us to ask where, no? Paano nangyayaring oppression, no? To what degree? Kailangan kasi mapinpoint natin saan ba yung nangyayari ang oppression, no? So, this precision is what allows for effective policy. And for you, para magkaroon tayo ng transformative pedagogy. Kasi one way to solve a problem is to pinpoint ano ba yung causes niya, saan ba talaga nangyayari. And if you know more about the problem, the more effective the solution would be. No? So, yun yung yun yung pag-uusapan natin ngayon sa Chapter 6, Women as Sectoral Situationer. Now, pag-usapan natin tong unang section ng chapter na ito, no? Women and the Economy Beyond the Double Burden. And here, we will talk about work, no? The PSA 2023 data shows female labor force participation at only 64.1%. No? Ikumpara natin ito sa mga men na 80.4%. No? So, ang laki ng discrepancy. Bakit? No? We have here sociologist Arlie Hochschild, no? Meron siyang tinatawag na second shift theory, no? Now, pasensya na kung na-butcher ko yung surname niya, I'm sorry, no? So, basically, ano ba yung second shift theory, no? Yung second shift theory, sinasabi nila na women engage in paid work, no? So, binabayaran sila sa trabaho nila. Pero, yun nga, pag uwi nila sa bahay, gumagawa ulit sila ng second shift of unpaid domestic labor, no? Kasi nga, expected sila na gawaing bahay, no, pag-uwi nila. This is also reflected in time use surveys by the Philippine Statistics Authority, which show women spending nearly twice as many hours as men on household chores and caregiving. Pag-aalaga ng bata, paghugas ng pinggan, etc. No? But there's a Philippine-specific layer on this, no? Kasi sa kultura natin, meron tayong konsepto nga nung pagiging matatag. Tinatawag natin, no? Pagiging matatag, no? Resilience, no? And I think nakakaano to, no? Hindi lang ako, hindi lang I think, no? But studies would show na medyo hindi siya maganda. Kasi nga, it romanticizes yung double burden na tinatawag natin, no? We celebrate the superwoman narrative, no? Yung tanging ina, no? The mother who is also the father, no? The nanay OFW who bears the loneliness of separation for her family's future. But we rarely question the immense pressure this places on women's mental health, no? Sa opportunities nila, sa work-life balance, no? This isn't just about being strong. It's about being stretched thin without a support system. The Philippine Institute for Development Studies adds a crucial point, no? Vertical and occupational segregation. Women are concentrated in low productivity informal sectors like care work, retail, or subsistence farming. They dominate the care economy, which is very, very essential, yet systematically undervalued. No? And even when women enter formal sectors, they hit the glass ceiling, those invisible barriers to promotion. Sometimes it's not a ceiling but also what we call as a sticky floor, keeping them trapped in low-wage, low-mobility jobs from the very start. This is why the wage gap persists. For every peso earned by a man, a woman earns about 78 centavos for work of equal value. This isn't only a local phenomenon. According to the World Economic Forum Global Gender Gap Report 2024, the Philippines rank relatively high in gender equality overall. But lag significantly in economic participation and opportunity. Furthermore, economists Amartya Sen's concept of missing women can be applied here, and hindi lang sa demographic sense but in an economic one. Think of the immense potential and GDP growth that is lost when we fail to fully integrate and compensate women's labor. Sinasabi nga nila, no, tataas daw sana ng 7 to 14%, 7 to 14%, no, yung GDP ng mga bansa sa Asia Pacific kung kasama sana, kung may equal representation sana ang mga kababaihan. This economic precarity directly fuels the feminization of poverty. Poor households are increasingly headed by women who are single parents, a trend amplified by male labor migration. Research on OFW families shows that women left behind often shoulder solo parenthood, even when their husbands are abroad, making all daily decisions and managing the emotional landscape of the family alone. Napunta tayo sa domain natin, no? Education. We see a reverse gender gap in enrollment. CHED data shows women comprise around 55% of higher education students. No, ang galing, no? Mas maraming babae sa college, no? But we must look deeper. There is horizontal segregation. Ang mga kababaihan kasi sa college, nagka-cluster sila sa education, humanities, and healthcare. Men dominate engineering, IT, architecture. Why? Bakit? Di ba tayo nagtanong? Socialization. From a young age, toys, parental expectations, and even career guidance, parang sinasabi na may interest tayo sa gendered lines, no? Pag titingnan natin yung theory ni Sandra Beam na gender schema theory, it explains how children internalize cultural definitions of gender, shaping career aspirations kahit na hindi pa sila nakaka-reach ng high school, no? So parang ganito, it's not that girls are bad at math, no? It's that they're often steered away from it, no? Yung phenomenon na tinatawag natin na math anxiety, natatransmit through social cues. Kasi nga, yung parang yung mali na expectation na mas magaling ang mga lalaki sa mathematics, no? So, yun ang nangyayari, no? And then, there's leaky pipeline phenomenon, no? Leaky pipeline phenomenon. While women are the majority of students and teachers, tingnan natin kung sino ang nasa taas. A 2021 study by the University of the Philippines found that while over 70% of public school teachers are women, only about 40% of public school principals and an even smaller percentage of division superintendents are women. No? The pipeline leaks at the promotion stage. This could be attributed to implicit bias in hiring, yung perception na yung leadership is masculine trait, or the fact that the demanding nature of the top roles conflicts with the caregiving burdens women still carry, no? Globally, UNESCO data shows that while more women than men are enrolled in tertiary education worldwide, they remain underrepresented in research, high-level academic leadership, and sa STEAM fields. No? Nag-echo ito sa Pilipinas. A study published in the Philippine Journal of Science highlighted that while women are well represented in the life sciences, their numbers plummet in physics, engineering, and computer science. And yun nga, ang mga babae daw least likely to be lead authors on high-impact research papers. Kaya nga kung titingnan natin, i-analyze natin sa university natin, mapapansin natin na, yun nga, di ba? yung dean natin ngayon is babae. At yung president natin ngayon, si Dr. Felisa Arcedonsua, babae din, 'di ba? So parang hindi lang siya achievement, no? Pero yung pagkakaroon natin ng dean na babae at yung university president na babae, it is actually a critical disruption of the national pattern, no? They both represent a real-time case study on how role models can help seal the pipeline and inspire a new generation of leadership not only in education but overall sa Pilipinas. Women, health, and violence against women, no? The bodily autonomy crisis. Health is a barometer of societal equality. Unfortunately, sadly, the Philippines failed to meet its MDG goal on reducing maternal mortality. The 2022 NDHS puts the maternity mortality ratio at 121 deaths per 100,000 live births. Bakit? Ano yung leading cause? Bakit maraming buntis ang namamatay, no? Kasi nga, marami sa Pilipinas yung namamatay dahil sa complications from unsafe abortions, no? And abortion, it is restricted under the revised penal code. Of course, we don't want people killing babies, no? But it has parang meron siyang isang other side of the coin, no? It pushes women into dangerous clandestine procedures, no? And we should understand this is not an abstract statistic. It represents real women, karamihan sa kanila, poor and young, who feel that they have no other choice. This is intrinsically linked to reproductive rights and the Responsible Parenthood and Reproductive Health Act, RA 10354. Batas siya, tama, maganda yung batas. Pero kahit batas nga, access to contraception and family planning education remains uneven, especially for poor, rural, adolescent, and indigenous women. UNFPA Philippines, in their report back in 2023, said that the unmet need for family planning is still at 10%. Imagine, 10%. No? This has profound implications, not just for health, no, but for a woman's ability to continue her education, pursue a career, and determine her own life path. Now, to the most brutal manifestation of inequality, pag-usapan natin yung violence against women, no? VAW. The 2022 NDHS found that 17% of married women have experienced physical or sexual violence from a spouse, no? Mula sa kanilang asawa. The sad fact is, this only covers intimate partner violence. At meron pang isa na we should understand. Kino-cover lang nito yung mga reported violence. So how about yung mga violence na hindi na i-report? Wala pa dito sa report na ito yung harassment sa kalsada, sa workplaces, and especially sa online spaces. The Philippine Commission on Women has identified cyber violence as a fast-rising threat. Kasama dito yung tinatawag nating doxing, no? At yung yung non-consensual sharing ng intimate images, no? The National Baseline Study on Violence Against Children found alarmingly high rates of sexual violence experienced by young girls. And the sad fact here is that it is often perpetrated by someone they know, by someone they trust. The primary legal frameworks are the Anti-Vowsy Act, RA 9262, and the Safe Spaces Act, RA 11313, no? Which covers catcalling and online harassment. But feminist legal scholars point out, ang mga batas, no, strong sila sa paper. The problem is enforcement, cultural stigma, and victim blaming. The concept of rape culture, no, which normalizes and trivializes sexual violence, is very, very evident in how we even question the victim's clothing, behavior, or choices, no? So, alam mo yun, biktima na nga, ba't ka kasi ganun manamit? Ay, malandi ka kasi. Ay, bakit kasi ganun ang desisyon mo sa buhay, no? So, why is the conversation of the victims, no? Isn't it that we are supposed to hold perpetrators accountable? Hindi ba dapat yung perpetrators, sila dapat yung kine-question natin, not the victims, no? As future educators, you are mandatory reporters. Your classroom may be the only safe space a victim has. Understanding the cycle of violence and the barriers on living that cycle, no, is crucial in responding with empathy and effectiveness. Kasi sa totoong, in an ideal world, anyone have a choice, anyone could just live a cycle of violence in a relationship, no? But the sad reality is that there are so many factors, ang daming layers, no? Meron tayong economic dependence, fear, love, shame, or simply because pakiramdam ng ilang kababaihan, wala na silang ibang mapupuntahan. No? So, that's the sad reality. So, yun. In politics, we see the glass ceiling reinforced by concrete walls. Maswerte tayo sa Pilipinas, mayroon na tayong 2 female presidents, no? Sa US, wala pa, no? Wala pa silang women president. Kaya lang, kung titingnan natin ang data, the Philippines has fallen in global rankings for women in parliament, no? Sa law creation, no? We currently have less than 30% women in the House of Representatives, no? 30%, no? Parang, di ba dapat kung may representation sana, dapat sana malapit tayo sa 50-50 na representation, no? At ang tanong natin dito, bakit, no? Bakit ganito? Kasi nga, the political arena is often hostile to women, no? Kasi ang laki ng epekto ng character assassination, no? Ng sexist stereotyping, no? And a resource-intensive company style na that favors political dynasties, no? At kung titingnan natin ng mga political dynasties, these are predominantly male, no? Research from the IDEA International notes that campaign violence and online misogyny are disproportionately targeted at women candidates, no? Their qualifications are scrutinized more harshly, and their emotional stability is frequently questioned in ways a man's never would, no? So, alam mo yun, pag babae, na-amplify yung, yung kanyang emotional stability, tapos yung qualifications niya mas lalong tinitingnan. Pero i-compare mo sa mga male politicians, hindi naman ganun, no? The key institutional mechanism here is the Magna Carta of Women, no? RA 9710, no? Ito yung parang a comprehensive women's human rights law. It mandates all government agencies to mainstream gender concerns in all policies and programs. And this is not optional. Ito yung nasa batas, no? Ito na yung kasama dito yung pagkakaroon natin ng tinatawag na Gender and Development Budget, no? These are meant to fund programs to address gender gaps. However, a common critic here is yung tinatawag natin na ring fencing ng mga pondo na ito, no? They are often underutilized or used for projects that are not transformative, no? So parang magkakaroon tayo ng God walk, magkakaroon tayo ng ng social media campaign. Pambili natin ng office equipment, no? These are good, okay? These are good. Pero sana nung pondo na ito, nagamit natin na training sana sa gender sensitivity, no? Para sa knowledge ng mga tao, no? Workshops, no? To encourage men, no? To oppose violence against women, no? Ganun sana. Or even support services for survivors. I think yung budget sana, pag napunta doon, kaysa naman sa magmarcha-marcha sila, no? Gumawa ng tarpaulin o pambili ng purple na damit, no? Pag ginamit natin sa transformative projects talaga, mas malaking tulong. Hindi po ba? No, pero, discrimination starts early. The girl child is often socialized into roles of service and docility. A study by the Council for the Welfare of Children found that girls are more likely to be pulled out of school for domestic duties or due to teenage pregnancy. The Philippine Commission on Women also warns that early marriage, though illegal, still happens in some regions, no? Na alam mo yun, parang nasisil na yung fate ng mga batang babae, no? And of course, yung pangit na mentality, pag may sexual abuse, isang option ng pamilya ng babae, sabihin nila sa pamilya ng lalaki, pakasalan mo na lang. So parang, alam mo yun, ano to? Bakit? Why? So, alam mo yun, this isn't just tradition, no? It's a form of structural violence that limits the horizons of women, no? For indigenous women, the struggle is intersectional. Kimberly Crenshaw's theory of intersectionality is vital here. Indigenous women face compounded discrimination based on gender, ethnicity, and class. They are often victims of displacement due to development aggression and militarization. Yet, they are also powerful leaders and knowledge keepers, no? Think of Bae Magdalena Gamayo, no? Yung Ilocano Inabel Weaver, no? National Living Treasure yon, no? Or yung mga tinatawag natin na countless babaylans, no? Who are custodians of biocultural knowledge. Their struggle is not just for women's rights, but for the right to their ancestral domain and self-determination. This connects to women and the environment. This topic connects women and the environment. Ecofeminist thinkers such as Vandana Shiva and Maria Mies argue that the destruction of nature is closely tied to the oppression of women. In the Philippines, women often stand at the front lines of protecting the environment. They are the first to experience the effects of ecological damage because they are usually the ones in charge of gathering water, food, and fuel for their families. We can see this in the Lumad women leaders who defend their schools and ancestral lands, or in the fisher folk wives in Manila Bay and even sa ilang parte ng Pangasinan, no, who resist harmful reclamation projects. For them, environmental activism is not a choice of interest. It is essential for the survival of their communities. So, ano na? Ano na ngayon? So, what does this entire situationer mean for you? Every statistic we discuss today is a future student in your classroom. The daughter of an OFW mother managing the emotional burden of separation. The indigenous girl whose knowledge system is absent from the curriculum. The budding scientist who needs you to encourage her because society tells her it's a boy's field. The quiet student who may be experiencing violence at home. Or even the young boy who needs to see male teachers championing gender equality so he can redefine what it means to be a man. Your role is not just to teach math or English. Your role is to be a gender-sensitive educator. And maraming paraan para ipakita ito. We could use inclusive language and examples in our lessons. Instead of using freshmen, we could use first-year students. Firefighters instead of firemen. And we could use also examples of female scientists and male artists. Number 2, we could actively challenge stereotypes. Yung boys don't cry, girls are bad at math. We could challenge these, especially when we hear them from students or colleagues. Or number 3, integrating the stories and contributions of Filipino women, like Dr. Fedil Mundo in medicine, Gabriela Silang sa Heroes, Justice Cecilia Munoz Palma sa law, our own university president, si Ma'am Fel or si Dean Bakiran, into our curriculum. Fourth, creating a Safe Spaces Act compliant classroom where respect is non-negotiable, and where students learn about bodily autonomy and consent. At panglima, pinaka-importante sa lahat, by being vigilant, by being empathetic mandatory reporters, who can recognize signs of abuse, because we should not tolerate abuse, even if it is from our own colleagues or friends, especially pag sila yung nang-aabuso o kaibigan natin. As true friends, we must be the first person to call them out on their behavior. Remember, you are not just teachers. You are social architects. The classroom you build can either reinforce the inequalities we map today, or it can be the very engine that dismantles the inequalities. Sana may take away kayo sa chapter na ito, may matutunan kayo. Knowledge of these sexual realities must be our first lesson plan. Our mandate could be found in the Magna Carta of Women. Our inspirations are for women leaders, in the countless unnamed women fighting daily battles. And your tools are your pedagogy, your compassion, and your critical eye. Thank you very much. Class dismissed.